After a surprising delivery, Sabrina found herself in a challenging struggle to breastfeed her newborn son. The baby's persistent crying indicated something was wrong, and her attempts to feed him seemed futile. As the ambulance headed towards the hospital, Sabrina was overcome with worry and frustration, having no clue that the shocking reason behind the baby's persistent crying was about to be revealed. Hello, my friends. I am Linda, and this is the Linda's Stories channel. I hope you enjoy this story. David and Sabrina walked away from that consultation room with heavy hearts after hearing the doctor's devastating words. The hope of seeing a positive pregnancy test for Sabrina faded like smoke. The doctor revealed a bitter truth, weaving the cruel web that entangled her uterus with fibroids, pushing pregnancy into an uncertain and distant future. After a few days immersed in reflection on that overwhelming news, David and Sabrina came to a crucial conclusion. It was time to escape the shadow of that reality and reinvent themselves. Together, they longed to redefine the meaning of family, away from traditional expectations. Moving as if propelled by an invisible force, they liquidated their material possessions. The flexible nature of their jobs opened doors to a bold adventure, a trip around the world, a passionate quest for new perspectives. For a whole year, they explored distant nations, intertwining with diverse cultures. However, at the end of that wandering journey, a truth emerged from the ashes of the unknown. The longing for a home took over, a desire to put down roots, to nurture a life that was, despite everything, familiar. Guided by this longing, they chose a small village located in the countryside. There they found a serene refuge, a place where the number of residents was modest, but the relationships were deep. The hospitality of those people was like a balm for their weary souls. In that rustic environment where time unfolded at a gentler pace, they rediscovered themselves. David and Sabrina discovered that, even without the gift of parenthood, they could cultivate a new form of belonging, where simplicity was the dominant theme. In that forgotten corner of the world, David and Sabrina planted their roots. A humble home, but filled with warmth, welcomed them. In their backyard, the soil was transformed into a lively garden, where rows of vegetables grew in harmony with the seasons. Next to it, a modest orchard, consisting of just half a dozen trees, generously rewarded David and Sabrina with fresh and succulent fruits. The melody of the leaves in the wind seemed to sing the cycle of nature. Chickens roamed the land with gentle steps, gifting them with perfect eggs to satisfy their morning cravings. The generosity of the soil and the chickens extended beyond just the couple. Surplus harvests found new homes in neighbouring houses, in a tradition of sharing that seemed to have been carved by past generations. To complement what the land and animals didn't provide, there was a small market in the village. While the desire to have children still lingered in a quiet corner of their hearts, they found a different kind of fulfillment in the little things of daily life. The village, with its tranquility and charm, became a warm embrace, comforting them in the gentle curves of routine. Life there was gentle, almost like a poem in its delicateness. The bandstand square was the centre of all activity, an oasis of energy in the village's tranquility. As the sun set on Saturdays, the residents converged there like faithful to a sacred ritual. A band formed by residents more than a musical group was the beating heart of the community. Their melodies were like a call, an invitation to celebrate life and forget worries. The stalls that spread around the square were little treasures of flavour. Aromas floated in the air, inviting everyone to explore the variety of snacks and treats. And there, amid laughter, lively conversations and musical notes dancing in the wind, David and Sabrina found a joy that didn't need words. And on one of those magical nights around the bandstand, destiny prepared a surprise of unexpected proportions for David and Sabrina. While enjoying the celebratory atmosphere surrounded by friends' laughter and musical chords, a shadow of concern began to form. Sabrina was gripped by a sharp stabbing pain. Discomfort she had felt throughout the day was now taking on a life of its own, growing in intensity alarmingly. For years, Sabrina had carried the burden of kidney stones, an intimate battle with pain that repeated over time. However, recently, a combination of weight gain and indulgence in some culinary pleasures brought a new dimension to her concern. That night, the agony of the colic made her realise that perhaps a kidney crisis was looming. The urgency of the moment summoned the village's only doctor, a respected figure whose knowledge was the community's health compass. However, the absence of a hospital in the village did not escape the situation. What they had was a modest clinic, where a general practitioner offered basic medical care. This clinic, though carefully maintained, lacked the examination equipment that critical situations like this demanded. The pains unfolded like waves, increasing in intensity with each passing moment. And then the doctor finally arrived at the modest clinic. In a brief yet attentive consultation, the doctor noticed something that challenged the most fundamental expectations. What seemed unbelievable unfolded before their eyes. Sabrina, afflicted by pains she thought to be familiar, was actually in labor. The news fell upon the couple like a shower of emotions. Sabrina, noticing subtle changes in her body over time, had attributed these changes to common factors, like mood swings and a few extra pounds. Time was a luxury they didn't have, and the possibility of transferring Sabrina to the hospital in the nearby town disappeared under the urgency of the moment. Thus, with the skill and dedication demanded by their profession, the doctor began the birthing process within the confines of the small clinic. David, his hand firmly clasped with Sabrina's, witnessed every moment. His eyes reflected anxiety, wonder, and a deep connection as the little being they never imagined they would have entered the world. The cry of the child filled the room, echoing in bewildered hearts. It was a boy, a tiny masterpiece of nature. Though small, he was perfect in every detail. His tiny hands, his soft features, all were a tribute to the magic of creation. The child's cry reverberated through the space, filling every corner with the melody of new life. The couple was instantly captivated by the little miracle that emerged from their love, a creature whose existence they didn't even dare to dream of. David and Sabrina's eyes fixed on the tiny figure now filling their arms. The doctor, after a brief assessment, offered a reassuring smile. The signs were good, everything seemed normal. A wave of relief calmed the already emotional hearts of the new parents. The arrival of the baby had been surrounded by a whirlwind of unexpected events. As the doctor arranged for Sabrina and the newborn to be transferred to the hospital in the nearby town, calm prevailed. An ambulance was on its way to transport mother and child. Sabrina and the baby would be greeted by pediatricians and obstetricians, providing an additional assurance that they were well. The news that the ambulance might be delayed due to another incident did not bring agitation to the couple. The situation, though unique and surprising, was stable. The village nurse guided Sabrina to the next crucial step. With the baby still filling the air with vigorous cries, Sabrina brought him into her arms, following the instructions with a touch of anxiety and anticipation. But not everything went as planned. The baby now resisted nursing. His cries echoed through the clinic. Despite numerous attempts, each time Sabrina brought the baby close to breastfeed, the crying intensified, a sharp echo of discontent. The calm that once hovered over the couple now gave way to growing restlessness. The exchanged looks between David and Sabrina were filled with mutual concern. What could be causing this resistance? What were they doing wrong? The wait for the ambulance, which seemed to stretch into a torturous eternity, only heightened the anguish. Finally, like a beacon of hope emerging in the dark night, the ambulance, which would be the vehicle for the much-needed journey to the hospital, arrived. The medical team, dedicated professionals who entered the scene like guardian angels, soon began to assess mother and baby. Initially, the checks revealed no obvious cause for the baby's persistent crying, and everything seemed to be within normal limits. However, despite the reassuring assessments, the baby's crying remained unrelenting, a constant echo of discomfort and discontent. The 30-minute journey to the hospital, which would normally be an ordinary journey, was now imbued with palpable tension. The couple shared silent looks, worries hanging over them like a shadow. Sabrina, in a brave effort to calm the son she had barely begun to know, held him in her arms with dedication. However, each attempt to breastfeed, each offer of comfort, seemed to be met with an increase in crying. The powerlessness of the situation, the feeling of being unable to alleviate her own child's discomfort, weighed heavily on her heart. The journey to the hospital was in its final moments when the unexpected once again made itself present. Discomfort that began as a mild unease soon turned into a storm of agonizing abdominal pains for Sabrina. Time seemed to warp, minutes turning into eternities as she struggled with the pain. The ambulance team, already aware of the delicate situation, notified the hospital of the need for immediate intervention. Sabrina needed urgent care, as what seemed like a common postpartum issue could actually conceal some complication resulting from the unexpected birth. When the ambulance finally stopped in front of the hospital, a prepared team was waiting. The couple, who had already faced a series of surprises, was now facing a new chapter of anxiety. Nurses, doctors, and specialists all came together like a safety net, ready to act for Sabrina's and the newcomer's well-being. Immediate assessment began, but what the doctors discovered left everyone astonished. Sabrina, already on a stretcher surrounded by a concerned team, heard the words that would echo in her mind like a mystery. While the medical team mobilized to ensure Sabrina was properly attended to, a statement from the doctor brought a surprising turn. He informed her that she would have to start pushing again because the second baby was being born. Amidst pain and confusion, Sabrina couldn't immediately grasp the words. "Second baby, doctor? What do you mean? I just had a baby I didn't even know I was carrying," she said. It seems destiny had held a double surprise for Sabrina. With the experience of having given birth to the first baby just a few hours ago, she found herself once again involved in the childbirth process, delivering a second baby. This time, a girl. David, who had been caring for the first baby during the medical procedures, was called over, his eyes now filled with astonishment at the surprising sight. There was Sabrina, holding in her arms a second baby, a girl, a little wonder that had come into the world so unexpectedly. The baby, who had arrived first, still wrapped in cries, was brought to Sabrina. A truly astonishing event occurred when she held him in her arms. When she placed the first baby, a boy, next to his newborn sister, something magical happened. The boy's cries immediately ceased. Though they didn't share the same placenta, they had been side by side throughout the pregnancy. The separation at birth had caused a discomfort that manifested in the boy's persistent crying. Sabrina placed each baby on one side and began to breastfeed them. Their little hands, almost as if reaching for each other, touched gently. Sabrina and David were enveloped in a happiness that seemed boundless. The journey of that day had begun with them as a family of two, but now, faced with this incredible twist of fate, they had transformed into a family of four. The unpredictability of life had granted them an extraordinary gift, one they couldn't have dreamed of in their wildest dreams. The twins now rested, peaceful, nestled against each other. Sabrina and David had discovered that life, in its unpredictability, could be surprising and wonderful. If you enjoyed, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment with a number from 1 to 5 to let us know how much you liked the story. Also, watch the video that is currently on your screen. See you soon.